Hi guys, it's Deborah from north of somewhere Nomad, and today I am going to do a video tour of my platform build that I did in my 2014 Ford Fiesta. So I just wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers and everybody who's liked my video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to do many more videos on my car conversion, my car camper conversion. I will be living in my car full-time in approximately 10 days. So I wanted to take this opportunity to not only show some of the pictures that I have taken when I first started my build. I didn't do a video vlog of that. But before I build up my car to go full-time, I just wanted to show everybody the platform at the stage it is now before I build it up. Yeah, and I just wanted to say I did this entire build on my own. Some of the tools, and I had very basic, so I had a manual handsaw, just something that I bought at a hardware store. I used a hammer, I used duct tape, and a glue product called No More Nails. And everything that I got from Home Depot, the wood I'll show you, I had Home Depot cut everything. So I had taken measurements of the spaces and the pieces of wood that I wanted cut at certain measurements, and they did all that for me. So I was so grateful for that. And also everything that I learned to do this, I learned from watching YouTube videos, hundreds. I started watching people doing van builds, people who were building out their van, and especially because of the laying the floor. So I wanted a really good platform for my car. And as you can see from the pictures that are coming, it was quite a challenge because it wasn't level at all. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the people who have posted videos on their van conversions, car conversions, everything in between. So I took bits of information that I learned along the way and applied it to my particular situation, and I wanted to share that because while no car build is ever going to be the exact same, and you giving out measurements and all that, just it won't work. I don't believe it'll work. Everything that I did, and I'm pretty sure everything that everybody else does, is a really custom build. But the basics of how to build up and how to place everything and the whole process, I feel is really valuable, and I wanted to share this. Yeah, so this is where it all started. I will show the picture montage, and I'll just voice over to explain how I got from a completely empty shell into where I'm at now. And I'm just about to build up the inside with my mattress, and yeah, so where everything's gonna go. I already do have some places that I'm putting things here that you'll see. So this is just kind of a continuation from the photo montage. So to start, just before this step here that you see in this picture, I had completely removed everything. So the back seats had been removed a bit prior to this step. So I removed the back seats, and there was a sort of a rug that had been laying over the spare tire in that area. So I removed all of those things. So I just had a clear blank slate. Then what I did was I thoroughly cleaned the entire area, all the metal, everything around, any surface that I could, cleaned it with vinegar and water, let that dry, and then I sprayed everything with a product that I got from Home Depot called Mold Control. So I sprayed that over the entire area, on the metal, on the tire, under the tire, all the little fabric sections that you see on the side, that whole area. So I did not want to have to deal with mold or mildew. So that's what I did there. So once it was clean and dry and all the mold protector had been sprayed on, I devised a system whereby I could have a level piece of plywood over that entire surface area. But what I had to do was implement sort of the IKEA slat system that they use for their beds, and each slat would have to be at a different level in order to make the entire surface level. So that was quite a project to determine where the slats were going to go and at which level. So once I had that, you can see here I had started. So the piece of wood that's closest to the bumper, that's the highest elevation. So I needed to start from there, and all the other slats would work up to that level. So I went to Home Depot. I bought these pieces of wood that were fairly cheap, and Home Depot is great because they cut everything. So once I had the measurements of these slats that I needed, I just had Home Depot cut everything. So now that I knew the measurements, I wanted to build up the section closest to the seats up to meet the level of the slat at the back by the bumper. And in order to do that, I didn't want to drill holes into the metal. So I decided to use that No More Nails product. And that is a product that you can adhere wood to metal. So I started there, and I knew I was going to build up the slats on that particular level, on that particular piece of wood. So I first laid the first piece of slat onto the metal, and I used the bricks and that big rock just to press it down and keep it compressed while it dried. So here's just another angle of how the slat was placed onto the metal with the bricks on it to dry. The duct tape that you see is holding the fabric that was previously underneath the seat, and I just wanted it to be nice and neat and tidy, so I used Gorilla duct tape to hold that in place. So then with the back slat and the front slat secured and level with each other, I then added the second and the third middle slats so that there was a strong, sturdy foundation. So with the second one closest to the back seats, I had to build that up quite a bit. And what I used was some of the spare foam board so that there was some give, because in and around that area there were some wires which I duct taped to the metal. And then the second one closest to the bumper, that one was pretty easy. It required a couple pieces of foam board. And then the foundation was complete at that stage. So with that, I went back to Home Depot and purchased a slab of plywood. I believe that's 1/2 inch, and it also had a exterior coating on the one side. So I, with my exact measurements, which I redid over and over to make sure that the piece that I wanted to fit on top of the slats was perfect, because Home Depot was making the cut for me, so I didn't want to have the piece cut and then come back to my vehicle and it not quite be right. So I really measured and measured and measured and got it right down perfectly. So with the plywood piece cut and ready to be installed, I started to work on the foam. So I had my piece of foam board that I had to cut in a couple different sections in order to make it fit the size. So, but before I did that, I cleaned it thoroughly with the vinegar and water on both sides and then sprayed it with the mold control. I also used the mold control spray on all the pieces of wood. I sprayed everything and then let it dry, because some of that wood was not finished and I didn't want to go through the whole process of staining it or putting any kind of product on it. So it was just quick, easy. So with the cleaning and spraying done, I then took the foam board and duct taped it together to fit the section of the platform. And I laid that foam board on top of the slats, directly on top of the slats. So I was quite happy with the fit. It was nice and snug. The only thing that changed from this picture is at some point I realized that I had to bring it up a bit from the bumper so that I had access to the spare if I needed. So I also duct taped both sides of the foam board so it was a nice solid fit. And here on this angle you can see how the foam board just extends a little bit past the first slat there that is glued to the metal, and that was to accommodate the exact size of the plywood. So it was at this stage that I realized, after lying on the platform with the foam board, that I could not fully extend, even with the front passenger seat fully tilted up at the front. So I made the difficult decision, and it was really difficult because it was very scary to remove that front passenger seat. And you'll see it in a future picture coming up here. But it was the best decision that I made, and I'm very glad that I did it, because it just gave me so much extra space, which you'll see here shortly. Also at this stage, I did a trial placing the plywood on top of the foam board just to make sure everything was fitting properly, and it did, and I was really excited that everything was coming together. It was like a Tetris. So, but once I laid down on the plywood, I realized I didn't like just the plywood, because next would have been coming my mattress. So I did some more research on YouTube and decided that I wanted to put some kind of a flooring on top of the plywood. So I went back to Home Depot, and luckily there was the clearance bin or whatever it's called, and there was a package of vinyl flooring on sale, and it was luxury vinyl flooring that was waterproof and the whole kit and caboodle. So the one package was enough to cover my entire platform. In fact, I had extra. I initially started out with this patterning of laying the vinyl flooring, but then I quickly changed my mind because it was actually really difficult to cut through that with my manual saw. So I ended up, all the pieces of the vinyl flooring are just the same length. So once all the vinyl was cut, I laid the plywood platform onto the foam board, and then got into the car and just hammered the tongue and groove pieces together, and it was actually a perfect fit. I was so happy. It also meant that the platform was going to be easy to clean, and also, God forbid, if there was ever a spill, that vinyl flooring would prevent any moisture or liquid to go into the platform or anywhere else. So I was very, very pleased with the outcome. Also, you can see here in these shots how I placed the extension of the platform into where the front passenger seat was, and it just gave me so much room. Also, that extension piece, I attached it with hinges, so if I ever needed to, that extension piece can lift right up over or back onto the main platform. So you can see just how much extra space I have, and also the amount of storage I can put underneath that extension platform. Now back to the other part of the video. All right, so here it is. It's a very windy day, so some of these tree seeds are flying into my car like crazy. Now you can see that this is the main slat that I used to level, and I made it so that it went right into these little indents into the car interior, and that was, like I said, that was my base. Some things I've already found a home. Those are my window mosquito nets. If I ever had to access my spare, I would just pull this up like that, and then I can get in there. I also, down here, I have these, it's like the knockoff version of Damp Rid. So I keep those. I keep one here. I think there's another one over here, and one or two up there. So this is the end of the build. And like you saw, there's the wood slats, and then there's the foam board and the plywood, which I put duct tape all around the edges, and then the flooring. So I'll show you from here. So coming in from the side passenger door, you can see it's quite a bit. I don't even remember the measurements, but I believe this is 60 inches, thereabouts. And then also addition is that I took the front seat out, which was the best move I could have made. It was really scary to do that, but I'm glad I did, because I'll show you some of the space that I have. So that is under there. I don't know if you can see, but that goes all the way through to the other side. So I can use this for storage. I'm just not sure, not everything has its home yet. But so one of the things I ended up doing is, after I had the build with just the slats, I realized when I was driving and I had to brake suddenly, this whole thing came moving forward. So, and also in order to build this, I needed another piece here in order to drill into that, because these slats under here just, they weren't flush with this. So that's what I did. I went back to Home Depot, I got this piece of slat, basically the exact same as everything else. And somehow, I don't quite remember how I attached it, but I did. I glued it, and I believe I screwed it, and then just for extra protection, not that it's doing much, I don't think, but just this duct tape. It was taut at one point, but now it's coming a little loose for some reason. Yeah, so this was great, and then adding the extension. So also you can see, this is my bug zapper. All the carpet that was down here is all duct taped in, and this slat is just gives everything a nice finish, I feel. And it's pretty much the exact same over on that side. Also, I wanted to be able to have access to this space and all of this space under here. So what I'm doing, and I'll do a complete car tour once everything has its permanent home, I will let you know. So I created this foot, let me move this, and this is permanently on there. So that's bracing this. I can sit right on here and that's no problem. And then so the other piece that's in there holding up, I just wanted something sturdy to brace this. So that piece is just loose, which is fine. Yeah, so with this piece being there, it gives me a little cubby, which is probably going to be all my reusable bags and possibly something else. And then in this section is where I'm going to store shoes and boots. I live on Vancouver Island, so you need rain boots. And then in here, in this bag right here, are my pine pellets. So I've placed the bag in such a way that I can just open this and scoop out however much pine pellets I need. That's for my potty, and that's got a good home there. I don't know if that's going to be its permanent home, but we'll see. And then I still have quite a bit of space in there. Right now is extra toilet paper, and then I also have a board that I'm going to use to cook on, possibly. This is my little stool for getting up to my cargo box. And then then I have all this space here where that front seat was taking up so much. There's still lots of grooves, so that looks like it's going to be my cutlery. Sorry, I haven't vacuumed because it's just been crazy windy, and every time I open the door something's coming in. And then I had this little extra piece of wood that I put on here because there's quite a big dip there, so that makes this fairly level with that. And then this area here is going to be my kitchen. I'm just not finished organizing it yet. These are my cleaners, but this is where probably my dishes, and then there's going to be food. This is a little miniature gas stove. I don't know if it's going to live there, but anyways, so yeah, so that's the platform build at this stage. So from here I will be building up. I have everything I need right now for setting up my bed. My bed is going to go here, and I decided to put my head at that end because I have car camped a few times with my head at this end. It's really cold, and I feel like if my head is up at that end, I can scooch into my driver's seat on a moment's notice. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm going to be building up. I'll show you my build up from this part here. And my bed, this will be like things that I need. Yeah, so I'm excited to show you that part. It's going to happen very shortly here. I'm just going to clean this out one more time and vacuum before I build it all up. So, all right guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my car camper conversion platform build. Again, if you like this video, hit like. And if you want to see more content from me on my conversion, my transition from living in a cabin to living full-time in my vehicle, this is my 2014 Ford Fiesta hatchback, then yeah, I look forward to seeing you again.